Hello everyone, French Fire Warrior has returned to go over Ragnarok chapter 106. A fast recap of the previous chapter will commence, so if you want to skip the recap, then jump to this time on the screen or click the time code in the description. Last on Ragnarok was the conclusion of round 11, and it began with Jack recalling the events of Simo versus Loki, noting that Loki's clones was such a perfect replica that it even passed by Jack's color-seeing eye. He admits he would have been deceived, and it was truly a horrifying technique. But what happened during the final moments gave Jack goosebumps. The last 7.49 seconds consisted of nothing but schemes upon schemes with an intersection of love and resolve. This interweaving of God and humanity was seen as the highest form of art. The final second starts as the Loki and Thor clone rush Simo from behind. Loki commends Simo and had faith that only Simo could hit vitals so accurately, and that will be the completion of his master plan. His plan was, while everyone is distracted with his dead clone, the real one would encase himself in a Heracles clone and proceed to launch an attack. Given Simo's skill, his shot would be certain to hit vitals. However, whether he shot for the heart or the brain, Loki's real vitals were not in the same place as the Heracles clone. The bullet being off by even a millimeter would have spelled death for Loki, but his faith in Simo's skills is what allowed this. There were two other fakes created that were released as a haze on the ground before Loki made the Heracles clone, all unbeknownst to Simo, until he was shot as Heracles and released the clones on Simo. The plan was, as the two closed in on him, he would turn to defend himself, and in that moment the real Loki would appear from the Heracles clone and slice off Simo's head, completing the greatest trick of his life. Loki accepts that Simo was the strongest he's fought, but he will be the one to die as he watches from a bird's eye view, waiting for Simo to turn around. 3 seconds pass, Simo reloads his gun and keeps his aim on the Heracles clone. Loki is stunned and wonders why he's still aiming at him. Could Simo have realized his plot? And if so, how could Simo tell? Simo sacrifices his liver and reveals he will never mistake the pain of taking a life. Over 5 seconds, he slightly pulls the trigger, causing Loki to panic, calling him a monster. As a last-ditch effort, he uses his bird clone as a gate to teleport to, right above Simo. Loki is determined to go further and swings his blade at Simo. However, Simo turns around and shoots towards Loki's head. His final thoughts as the bullet pierces his head, he thanks Brunhilde as he reminisces on the happy moments he's had with her, stating that he's always wanted to tell Brunhilde that he loves her. The bullet finally puts an end to the Joker, with the blade scraping both the bullet and Simo's face. Loki falls to the ground, shocking everyone. Simo takes a knee, and Loki's body starts to crumble. Simo collapses upon the renewal of his kill count, now at 543, with the pain of taking a life knocking him out. This concludes round 11, with Simo being the victor, accompanied with Brunhilde shedding tears for Loki. Now with humanity finally in the lead, we are now 1 point away from winning. Who will be the next human fighter to take that victory, and who will be the next god to prevent the humans from taking that last victory? This month's new chapter picks up after Simo collapsed to the ground. The humans all cheer for the strongest sniper's victory. Even his Russian enemies are impressed that he defeated the god. Simo, however, isn't waking up, scaring the audience. His dog runs over to him and licks him on his face, which luckily does wake up Simo. He thanks his loyal companion, and everyone is relieved to see him still alive. The gods sit in silence as he is carried away. Forseti is shocked by the outcome. Meanwhile, Ares laughs, claiming that there's no way that's the end of Loki. Surely that was another copy. He looks to Zeus and Hermes for confirmation, but they still stay silent. Ares tries to convince himself that Loki's too cunning to die like that, and he believes that Loki is probably pulling some prank, laughing at Ares in secret. He yells for Loki to cut it out and to reveal himself. Suddenly, he grabs Hermes and asks where did he go. Hermes has some trouble breaking the truth to Ares, but Ares himself already knows what happened. He states that Loki was never his friend, but begins to cry as he knows he'll be lonely now that Loki is gone. Aphrodite also watches in silence. Shiva walks out feeling heated, and to no surprise, Apollo notes that Loki's death was beautiful. Halak is shocked that Simo really won, with Jack commenting that this round was the greatest interweaving of humanity and God, the highest form of art, making it a praiseworthy battle. Halak was fooled, thinking Loki was dead after he was shot through his shield, but more clones appeared again and again. How did Simo stay composed and shoot the real one? Jack theorizes that it was due to feeling the pain of the heart. During the battle, Simo's emotions almost never fluctuated. The only 2 times he did become unsettled, first was when he shot Loki in a Heracles clone, and the second was when he dealt the final blow to Loki. Meaning, whenever he takes a life, he feels that pain of the heart. Whenever he shot the clone, he felt no pain at all, allowing him to differentiate between the real and the fake. Halak still questions how was he able to tell that Loki teleported to the bird above him. Jack also theorizes that his deep love for the forest of Finland gave him some sort of sixth sense that allowed him to determine that something was off. Upon taking a closer look at the bird's movement, his color expressed doubt, signifying that he knew that there was another copy. Jack commends Simo and sees that he is worthy of his title. Halak asks Jack, what was the final color Loki emitted? All the Valkyrie sisters know that Brunhilde and Loki were friends, and with him having feelings for her. Jack elaborates that the color he emitted was truly beautiful, as it was the most purest, most unadulterated, insane love. We switch to Thor that sits there in silence as Mjolnir pulses. Thor recognizes that Mjolnir feels the same sadness that he does. Buddha thinks that was an incredible fight. Impressed with his tenacity, he knows that Loki wouldn't do all that just for winning Ragnarok, implying a bigger motive. Brunhilde doesn't answer him and excuses herself, walking away. Buddha states Brunhilde is so easy to read as she has no poker face at all. He sees that both Loki and her are actually very similar, all with their puberty going crazy too. Brunhilde walks amongst projections of the fallen fighters in Ragnarok in her room, now adding Loki. She understands the action that he did to her and Siegfried, as it was all for the sake of love. He became a clown. He never hesitated for a second with her, and she accepts that Buddha was right. Her and Loki are the same, which is why until Ragnarok is over, she won't apologize as she cries. Turning back to Helheim, Goal gets the notification that Simo won round 11, surprised that even Loki lost, and cheers that humanity is just one more win from being saved. Nostradamus assumes Sieg must be happy that Loki got Nifled, since he was the very person that put Sieg in this situation. Siegfried agrees that he did despise him back then, but he would never wish Nifl on his worst enemy, leading Nostradamus to apologize. Sieg also comments that he's more worried for Brunhilde being the person who made the choice to do that to Loki, and they were once friends as well. Aside from that, Nostradamus points out that now the gods are truly on the verge of defeat. For Odin, one wrong play will spell the end of his resurrection plan, leading for Nostradamus to admit that even he doesn't know what Odin will do now. This terrifies Gaul, who is very concerned for his sister now. Speaking of her, she exits the room, followed by a huge rumbling occurring. It's none other than Odin, who questions what is Brunhilde's goal. Being crushed by his presence, she replies that it's to save humanity. However, Odin looms over and interrogates her further, stating that he knows that she has a deeper goal to this conflict. Still standing her ground, she boldly claimed that it's to kill Odin with a smile on her face, concluding this chapter with a declaration of war from the leader of the Valkyries. Wow, Brunhilde got some balls to go in Odin's face like that. But nonetheless, I'm proud that she stood on business and told him straight up. It is interesting to see quite a number of people are starting to see that Brunhilde isn't really doing all this just to save humans, that she has some deeper motive behind all this, and by now we know that it's not only to kill Odin, but really to save her husband Siegfried. Speaking of, he is a better man than me, because upon learning about Loki's fate, he acknowledged that he used to despise him, but still would never wish Nifl on his worst enemy, which is very touching to read, and you can see that both him and Brunhilde aren't totally heartless towards Loki, despite what he put them through. I think this helps really solidify the humanity side of their character, and really makes me believe that they are truly meant for each other, given their similar ideals. And Siegfried probably won't be pulling some traitor plot in the future. I will say this chapter was very sad in the beginning when everyone was expressing their reaction to Loki's death. The two that surprised me the most is both Ares and Brunhilde's reaction, both of whom cried for him. Brunhilde's reaction surprised me the same way as we just discussed for Siegfried, but Ares I'm more surprised because I didn't know Loki provided that dude with that much company. He even said that Loki wasn't really his friend, but I guess Ares really messed with him like that. Thor's reaction was something I wanted to see, and as expected, he too is sad that even Mjolnir, a literal hammer, is feeling sad as well. This goes to show how loved or how many people cared and valued Loki being around other than Brunhilde. And the tragic thing is, I don't think he realized that at the very end because he was just so fixated on Brunhilde that he just failed to notice other people. As Jack said, the last color he admitted was the most purest, most unadulterated, insane love. Just tragic. Good on Brunhilde to admit that she and Loki are the same, as they both are individuals who will go to great lengths for those that they love. They both have hidden ulterior motives, using manipulation to their advantage, and both doing questionable acts to achieve said goals. There's many other similarities between the two, but you get the point. Due to all these similarities, she was able to at least understand Loki and won't apologize until everything is said and done. Final thing is, back to Odin real quick. So most likely he's going to be next, considering him approaching Brunhilde and needing to win Ragnarok in order to fulfill his resurrection. As Nostradamus stated, the gods are truly on the brink, and honestly, I'm terrified to see what Odin's going to do now, because I know he will do whatever it takes to win. So that's everything for this chapter. Like and subscribe, and click that bell notification to know when all my videos are uploaded. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate y'all. Stay safe. Be good people. Peace.